What's up, folks? As a continuation of my Worlds prep content, I'm going to go ahead and piggyback off of Blizz the Jawa, who put together this great written guide on 2 weeks to Worlds and his useful tips and revelatory, good God, insights and how to win Worlds. Let's actually dive into this one. This is Blizz the Jawa on Reddit, who is also Looryl Qrygg on Medium. We're talking about a Medium article. This is a classy blog writer right here. And I'm going to go ahead and just rock through this and just read this and hopefully not really mess up Lurie's voice or L'Oreal's voice. No good franchise is ever allowed to die. No, it must be revived, restored, and rebooted, kicking and screaming against all logic to extract whatever value remains and forcibly awakened for yet another sequel. Ugh, starting off dark. And so, despite writing a perfect trilogy of how to win worlds articles, references 1, 2, and 3, I'm back to do it again in some forlorn hope that there is creativity yet untapped, content worth rehashing, and an audience that will lap it up. Somehow, How to Win Worlds returned. Good God, referencing what is it, Rise of Skywalker, the latest movie? Oh man, okay, so right in here, coming and swinging. This actually, I feel like captures a lot of the feeling of the old hat, like established X-Wing community. Is we love this stuff, we still love it, but there's kind of a weight to loving it. Um, X-Wing is in this kind of odd space, but you know what? It's going really well. It's an odd thing to say, really. It is in a weird space, but a weirdly exciting space. But it's a very waiting space. We're in the doldrums. We're in that purgatory. We're waiting for the next step to figure out if what's going to happen at Worlds, what's going to happen after Worlds, what is the XWA going to be able to do? Are we going to get physical releases again? Is the tournament circuit going to be revived? Like there's so many things up in the air that we don't know, and a massive base of people that kind of want to know. So that's one of the reasons I'm doing this right here is I really enjoyed the tone of this article. It really captured something similar to what I was feeling, and hopefully it's okay that I record this. I will ask permission before I publish this. Somehow, How to Win Worlds returned, and we have 3 different articles as well that I'll link to those, but I'm just going to focus on this one for now. Number 1 is look after your body and mind. And there was another post about this on the Reddit not too long ago where somebody asked what they needed to do to prep for Worlds. And people said, like, comfortable shoes, snacks, water, the fundamental stuff. Make sure you get enough sleep. Make sure that you are taking care of yourself. Eat your lunches. Have some good food. Like all of this stuff about the very basics. I personally perform best when I'm like feeling healthy and not exhausted and not starving or dehydrated. And that's very true of everyone, I think, where you want to make sure you have your supplies ready. So eat well, proteins and complex carbs over sugars and junk. Yeah. Vegetables when you can find them. Yeah. It's hard to eat well at a convention, even more so over multiple days. But if you want to win, you must have good nutrition. And they were fairly expensive. I want to say it was $10 or something, but the catering at last year's Adepticon 2024 actually had some really good sandwiches that had a really like they had real vegetables on them. They tasted pretty good. You could even get them warm. So those are really good if you can just duck out for lunch and come back in. Also, a lot of restaurants in the area can do takeout. I personally loaded up on the caffeinated Cliff Bars, but do use those sparingly. Um, but yes, very true. Yeah. Make sure you hydrate. Yes, bring a water bottle you will carry with you and don't forget it. Often, water. Choose sleep over coffee. Oh, man. Look after your body and the mind will follow. You can't play at your best otherwise. And actually, I first read body as buddy, which is also true. Look after your buddies too. Spot the folks that are visibly struggling in some health level. Just a call out. Make sure that folks are, remembering to drink and get some food. You can see a lot of people at these multi-day events actually struggle, and so it's really good to kind of just call them out because everyone goes in planning to take care of themselves. It's just kind of hard to keep this up, and it's X-Wing is a very mentally demanding game, so it takes a lot of your focus when you're playing, and you can easily lose track of time. That's how you play 4 games and an entire day is gone. Next, give it up, Snowflake. Oh wow, really coming in swinging. No, Johnny. Ooh, your wonderful thematic, this is uniquely me list that embodies and represents your very soul isn't going to cut it. I feel seen. If you want to win, bring a list that will win. Sure. It's a tough field and you'll need every edge you can get. Bringing a Snowflake B tier list may make you feel special and warm inside, but you're hurting your chances. Ooh. Yeah, so when I did my prep in 2024, a big part of what I did was prepping my list, and I practiced a lot of scum, and I still think my scum list was strong. It wasn't just the stuff I wanted to bring to be a snowflake. It was like some of the best that scum could offer, and I knew it well, and I should have brought it, but I switched to rebels and used some of the stronger pieces instead, and I probably did perform better because of it. But still, it came down to my play. The difference between those lists was more skill and familiarity than it was the lists themselves. And I didn't bring the top tier competitive stuff, which of course I didn't expect to win the whole thing. I wanted to make day 2, and I didn't even make that, but I did win some games. So, But yeah, I feel seen here. That's a fair point. If you want to go, it's not just give it up, Snowflake. The important thing is, the actual purpose of this article is how to win worlds. So I have to focus on that. But before we get too deep into this, you want to make sure that you're focusing on your goals, how you want to approach the tournament. Do you want to win the whole thing? And if you want to win the whole thing, you better be eating, breathing, and sleeping X-Wing all the time with a top tier competitive list that is tried and true and tested, and you better be beating the heck out of that thing every single day. If you want to win. If you don't want to win, set your goals appropriately. Do you want to win a game? Do you want to win multiple games? Do you want to have a winning record? Do you want to make day 2? Whatever you want to do. Do you want to just go and play some X-Wing? In that case, just Johnny it up, pal. Enjoy that. And that reference right here is to the 3 different sort of subcategories or the main categories of Magic the Gathering players, being the people that go for theme and uniqueness, the people that go somewhere in the middle, and the folks that are win at all costs, or the whack players, or the spikes. So yes, it's a pretty harsh point, but you know what? If you want to win, that's fair. Yeah. I do think in the list testing phase, you should experiment a little bit early on and try some stuff that people may or may not be aware of, but don't overdo it. You want to stick to your fundamentals. You want to make sure you're honest with yourself about how competitive your list is, and hopefully get some external feedback as well. It's very easy in the community for people to say, like, don't do that, do this every single time. There's some wiggle room in that, but still, you have to test it and make sure you walk the walk instead of just saying, well, surely you're wrong, and trying something else. Number 3, see the shifting win conditions. Oh yeah, very. Every game has a route to victory, a way for you to win, even against difficult odds. The trick is to see it, find it, expose it, and grasp it. This takes practice, and it takes experience, which you get from practice. And it takes determination, and hydration, and good nutrition. Even when things are going against you, when you can see the writing on the wall, don't give up. Instead, try harder. No, do harder. Yeah, there is no try. To figure out a way to win. Very nice. So when you start to see signs of X-Wing's impending close, when you interpret the signals and development cycles in lackluster product releases, when you listen to the whispers from sources you trust and hear the deafening silence of a non-existent roadmap, when it becomes clear that X-Wing is in its twilight days, find a way to win. I love it. I wasn't sure where that was going, but that was a good finish. All right. Reach out to the studio and publisher, rally the community, build networks and channels of communication, do whatever you can think of. It's hard going. The responses from the studio are polite but not positive. Apathy and hurt in the community holds it back. Your networks reach far but carry little strength, and everything else you try barely seems to move the needle. And then the news drops that yes, indeed, official development for X-Wing has ceased and support of the game has an expiry date. Woo-hoo! Feel the pain there. That's it. The party's over. Come to the next worlds. X-Wing will sunset, and it will be time to wrap up the memories, disperse to the wind, and find the next thing. Except that's not what happens. Oh, I like you. Oh, I like this. This is great. I'm glad I did this. Within hours of the announcement, community leaders around the world have gathered, reaching out and making connections with each other, coalescing into a cascade of communication that combines to form what will become the heartbeat of a community drive to support the game into the future. There's confusion, but there's determination too. And yeah, uncertainty. And while others may be mourning the game, pointing fingers, recalling nostalgic memories, which is fine, or transitioning to a new game, maybe even with Star Wars themes, collectible cards, and obnoxious combos, but no minis. All right, Unlimited, I see you. Although I see a lot of people going to Shatterpoint, which is fine. You've been swept into a process that shows the power of passion and collective unification. The outreach and community network you invested in has brought you here. Those channels you opened, those communities you rallied, they are pushing you forward, and your role in supporting the game all these years are now being recalled by your peers. They think you have more yet to contribute, and you know, too, that you have more yet to give. Or maybe you're just the only fool left who still believes. Yikes. Get elected to steer this group. This band of X-Wing legends, people you deeply respect and admire, who think about the game more than pretty much anyone else on the planet, who commit more time and energy to the game than is frankly reasonable. These stalwarts, these icons, they see your voice, your leadership, your persona as one that can direct their efforts. It is your chance to lead and inspire. What an honor and privilege, not to mention vindicating a decade's worth of misspent leisure time. There are people here who can do amazing things for the game if they do it together. People who in the past might clash vehemently over philosophical and competitive differences, who now want to work together in civility. Interesting. Because we believe in the same cause, and because we must. There is no other choice, because whether you are a Saw Gerrera or a Mon Mothma, a Luke Skywalker or a Luthen Rael, we have come together under the same banner. Good people who will fight if you lead them. An alliance of shared dreams. World champions, content creators, community organizers, and more now look to you as a guiding influence to channel their energies in positive ways. That's right, you. Guiding influence to channel your energies in positive ways. I see you. It isn't all seamless and smooth. There is dissent and there are debates, teething, jostling, emotional reactions to the still raw news. And this is a crazy thing, is like even now, it's less than a year since we actually found out the official word that X-Wing development was being paused indefinitely. And the craziest thing is we still don't know that means it's actually over. And that's one of the biggest pieces of uncertainty here. Yes, we can be fairly confident it's actually over, but there's still licensing and money on the table, and it's you never know. Um, yeah, and even if that all is mucked around, like the community is pretty strong. And a quick tangent here before I get into this wonderful piece, because I'm really enjoying this. Um, the X-Wing community, as like a professional, as an adult professional, as a gamer, as a Star Wars fan, as a dad, it's a really incredible, unique moment in time and a really cool community and a really cool game to see all of this like physical space, virtual gaming, fandom, professional adults who are deep into fandoms and gaming all kind of coalescing in this weirdly professional takeover of this thing. Like I've now participated in several other dead games and similar community efforts to keep them running, and none of them hold a candle to what is going on with X-Wing right now. It is cool, and I'm very excited to see it and ideally be a part of it. Yeah, it isn't all seamless and smooth. There's dissent and there are debates. Teething, jostling emotional reactions to the still raw news. While disagreement is good, infighting is not. However, mutual respect and a common goal are powerfully binding forces. I see what you did there. And in no short time, unified declarations and commitments are there for all to see. Take a moment to pause and reflect. How did you get here? What steps did you take to create this opportunity? From playing a casual spaceships game with a friend at a kitchen table to leading a worldwide community effort to persevere and enhance that very game. And after all, it's just a game, isn't it? Isn't it? I just touched on that. The goals are simple. Retain the players that are still playing, bring back the ones who left, and attract new players into the game. The ways to do it? Well, there are many. And the tasks of the various teams in this fledgling alliance are monumental. But there is passion and drive that shrinks all obstacles. The focus is on the community and giving it a reason to be excited. Meanwhile, you keep knocking on the doors of the higher powers. If any progress is being made there, it's incremental and incidental. And that, I mean, there's a snowball effect here, right? Where all of this is more effective and cooler and deeper and more fun, the more of us get into it and the more passion we put into it. Whether that's official or community support, the more of us in this space, kind of the better it gets. Official support and official events are still there, and you want to make them as strong and positive as possible, even when events that used to draw hundreds now barely bring dozens. When new official content is unexpectedly released, you print thousands of copies, just so you can give them out, hoping that those who receive them will be tempted to stay in the game just that little bit longer. Every player lost is another cut that the game may not heal from, but every player retained or gained is potentially an entryway for a dozen more. And this is a hugely important piece where if anybody wants to explore the game, they need to be able to find the pieces to play it. And so I do think that's a major focus for everyone here. You keep playing the game, of course. It's still fun, of course. By now, you're familiar with winning and making cut at events is de rigueur. Messed that up. Apologies for you. But more and more, you're on the regular. I don't know. But more and more, you're thinking wider and higher. You drop out of the cut you made because actually winning the tournament isn't what is important. Being there and supporting the game is. Seeing people play, we talked about that win condition. There we go. Seeing people play and watching them enjoy their day of leisure is what brings the most reward. And really, that was the best part about being at Worlds. I got to see these amazing players. I got to watch some games, got all kinds of swag, and just kind of got to be there and like live on that high energy of this wonderful game and community. It really is extraordinary. If you get the chance to go, I hope you do, and I hope we do Worlds again, even if AMG isn't officially supporting it, or who knows. Um, One day, someone at the publisher finally returns your call. Ooh, it doesn't turn out to be the seismic unlock you were hoping for, but it's a breakthrough, nonetheless. Nothing much comes of it, but it's an inch gained, a door now ajar. Is that a true story? Ooh, ooh, this just got interesting. A leverage point you can now lean into with all of your weight, just in case something might eventually come of it. All the while, you pour yet more hours into managing the fragile alliance of players slowly adopting and owning the development of the game. All right, I got to look into who this author is. This is good stuff. This is poking at all of the major developments in a very direct way. Those around you pour equal, if not more, hours into the task. The teams do great work, and the reception is thunderous. There's plenty appetite still for the game, and a player base that will rally. Fresh points of contact, fresh points and new content. There we go. Will inspire them. Knowing organized play will continue, and that there will be prizes worth chasing will excite them. And that's a cool thing too. Is the coolest swag they got at Worlds was not the official content. It was all fan made. It was tokens, it was dice, it was cards, it was alt arts, it was all kinds of random stuff that people were just making all over the place. And being able to find that and get it to people, like distribution centers for this stuff, is going to be a really important part of keeping this all going. So, yes, knowing order. These are all in the works. New ships, new point. Ooh, new ships. New points, new prizes. We're organizing events, bringing people together, and doing it all with announcements that are borderline too long. But hey, we have lots to say, and the one thing we don't want to fail on is under communication. We don't want to under communicate too effectively. Wink. So when the biggest tournament of the year rolls around, the tournament that sold out 10 months ago within 22 minutes of releasing tickets, poof, with a waitlist that is finally snaking its way to an end, you can't wait, because it is a riotous celebration of 140 players traveling, and it's hard to picture that until you see it, traveling from countries and continents apart to be there. It's a reminder of what the game was, could be, is. Ooh, I like this. The stage is thus set for Worlds. It's as much a chance to meet up with the people who will take the game to a stronger place as it is an opportunity to test your mettle against the best players still playing and still willing to travel. You know you're heading out with far fewer friends than you did in the past. Worlds isn't what it used to be, and too many have lost their drive. It's expensive, after all, to travel internationally, intercontinentally, just for a game. But no, it isn't just a game. And you have an agenda. You won't give up on threads that might yield gold. You see the shifting win conditions. Plus, of course, you want to win Worlds. When the last of the 100,000 dice rolls are resolved at Worlds, it probably is that high, isn't it? The curtain will fall on this act, supposedly letting the game retire into the night, releasing players to move on. Except that's not what will happen. What will happen is that we, the community, will inherit the game. We, the community, will take it by the scruff of its neck and work for its success. We, the community, will organize the next Worlds, and when we do, it will be ours. We have each other. That's how we win Worlds, because no good franchise is ever allowed to die. Remember S-foils or take standard loadouts so you don't have to. Yeah, don't forget your S-foils. And the little tokens that actually mark the S-foils are nice. I think they're going to be a little bit more flexible about third-party game aids too than they have been before, but maybe. I'll check the rules. The author still credits Aaron Blaert, whose amazing piece How to Lose Weight in 4 Easy Steps was the inspiration for this entire series. He, the author, not Aaron, will be attending the 2025 X-Wing World Championships, and if you mention this article to him, he will thank you for still playing the game and being a part of the community, and maybe give you a souvenir to take home too. That was good. I'm gonna reply to that. That was very enjoyable. I really love that. I'm gonna reach out to the author here and see what can be done here. Yeah, absolutely loved it. We also have some great news too, talking about Worlds. If you have not seen them, and I wish I had a picture ready right now, I don't. Onyx Squadron. Actually, you know what? We can fix that. Hang on. There we go. Onyx Squadron. Just talking about, I mentioned the third-party swag and just the really amazing stuff that you get. One of my favorite things from Worlds 2025 was there were a couple folks from the Onyx Squadron, um, and they have actual booster packs, like card booster packs of alt-art pilot cards, like the ones you see here, and they are so cool. I got a bunch of these, and for the ones that I got for factions I didn't play, I looked for people playing those pilots and ships, and I gave them the pilot cards to go ahead and just like walk around and pass them out. And I still have a good little small collection of these that I just absolutely love. They are so cool. Like these are good pictures, but I can't even express how much I love the dark mode, the art style, the way they presented these characters. Oh, so good. And one of the really exciting things about Worlds is I just found out they will be back, and I believe we're actually going to see Infinite Arenas be bringing out some of these as well, if I'm not mistaken, if I saw the announcement correctly. Let me actually check that too before I get too excited here. There it is. So it looks like this is one of the, and this is very cool. So this is one of the X-Wing Alliance's custom standard loadout cards. Some of the extra artwork on it, but you can't see the whole card, of course. This is just a preview of it. But Jim Bob of Infinite Arenas is going to be making sure that we also have Onyx Squadron swag at Worlds 2025. Onyx Squadron is well known for their beautiful art arts featuring boldly colored character-focused art, usually only available if you're lucky enough to be participating in the Australian tourneys sponsored by Onyx. These wonderful cards will soon be available in the US through Infinite Arenas. Yes. And so they will be at Worlds, more than likely, at least some of the folks carrying some of these, you can find them, but also they will be available elsewhere, and I'm super pumped about that. And that's one of the things, too, is that we probably, along with this very inspiring article about where the community is going and the community support, like this kind of stuff is one of the things that got me so excited about the game when I started out originally, was this whole like, oh my God, there's swag. What is this? We've got local artists and cool nerds making cool stuff that we can share. Like, yeah, we're just going to end on that note. It's quite late. I wanted to make sure to record this before the weekend, but yeah, that's it. We'll leave it there. Um, yeah, cheers. Wonderful night. Very excited about the community. Really looking forward to Worlds. Would love to hear what's on everyone's mind. Um, yeah, talk to me about X-Wing. Let's just talk. And then also, I do want to go ahead and highlight that I did a poll, and everybody wants to see breakdowns of the new standard loadout cards from the X-Wing Alliance as they come out. I've just been, my head has been spinning trying to keep track of all of the individual ones, and most of them are First Order and Resistance, which I'm not as familiar with or following, so I will follow them. I'll go ahead and start doing some reporting on the cards I've missed, and I'll do some of those as they're coming out, leading up to Worlds. And then once the sets come out completely, I'll do full set analyses of the entire set altogether. So excited to do that, excited to cover it, and keep talking about X-Wing, folks. Anyway, good night. Cheers.